Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast, Welcome to Livingston, where we invite local businesses, people, and organizations in to talk about what they are giving to our community. My name is Don Paquette.
And I'm Angela Paquette, and we're with the Paquette Group Real Estate Professionals. As realtors and brokerage owners, we bring valuable insight into the local market and community every week. Thanks for listening, and welcome to Livingston.
Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the Welcome to Livingston podcast, where we bring in local businesses to talk about what they're doing in Livingston County. My name is Don Paquette.
And I'm Angela Paquette, and we're with the Paquette Group Real Estate Professionals.
Yes, and before we get started today, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Today's episode of the Welcome to Livingston podcast is brought to you by our valued sponsor, Jim Paquette, with Lake Michigan Credit Union. He's a trusted mortgage lender who has lived and worked in our community for many years. Jim Paquette is dedicated to helping our neighbors achieve their home ownership dreams and is proud to support the local businesses that make our area special. Now let's dive into the stories of the incredible entrepreneurs that we're featuring today. So we are really excited about today's episode. Today we have with us Todd Buckley. He is the owner of Town to Trail Outfitters here in downtown Brighton.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome, Todd. Welcome. And I know you've just opened up, so this is very exciting. It was fun to walk through. But why don't you go ahead and tell us what it is and where it's located?
Yeah, so Town to Trail is located at 312 West Main Street in downtown Brighton, and right in the heart, just next door to Brighton Coffee House.
Great. Yeah, right in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is a really cool store to walk through. I think it's, we have a lot of different clothing shops and unique shops in downtown Brighton, but I think this one really serves a niche that just wasn't there before.
Yeah, so when we set out to create the business, well, there were many studies that were done, and one was done by the city of Brighton, and men specifically were really being excluded in clothing options in downtown Brighton. So in addition to that, in the study that we found that outdoors activities were also being underserved as well. So this is a bit of a passion project for my wife and I, and there's certainly some unique items that we carry in that store that you won't see in other places.
Now, what types of merchandise do you sell in general?
As far as our apparel goes, we're about 55% men, 45% women, so very close to 50-50. In addition to that, the shop is named Town to Trail, and the goal is for the clothing that we offer to cover you both in town if you're at the beer garden, or if you want to head on the trails, it's going to be versatile clothing. We also wanted to focus when we chose our brands. We're very brand focused on top brands that are certainly very sustainable. That was really important to us as well. And in this day and age, people have a lot of options, and they have a lot of options on price and quality. We want to make sure we were carrying high quality items that are going to last for a long time. And so that people are buying less, and they might be spending a little bit more, but they're going to be buying less and holding on to those things. And that's why you'll see a lot of our brands are those that are sustainable and long lasting.
So very high quality and just nice pieces, you could tell as you walk through.
You can 100% tell as you walk through. And it's, and I hadn't even thought about it before you mentioned that, because we do shop a lot in downtown Brighton. But for men's clothing, it is a bit underserved. And this gives an opportunity for a shop to go into that you're going to be getting items there that are for you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, and when my wife and I, when we sought out to create this shop, we like shops like this around the state. There just wasn't anything like this in Brighton. Quite frankly, we had an opening in our building, and we actually sought to fill it with a store that was like this, and we went after a few different stores throughout the state of Michigan, saying, "Hey, would you like to open another location in downtown Brighton? We think we have the right spot for you." And we couldn't fill the space, and then my wife said, "Let's just do it." So that's how we ended up doing it, and it was about 10 to 11 months later that we actually opened. And we really enjoy. My wife has another store in town, so we really enjoyed this type of shop, and we seek them out when we're on vacation, and just a fun place to go to.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And it really complements some of the other shops that are out there. It really fits right in and definitely fills that niche that's open.
Yeah.
It's that type of shop that you would expect to see in a walkable downtown too. When you're going in and such, like you said, the items are a little bit on the higher end, but they're a higher end of quality as well. And it's not something you're going to see, going into a Kohl's or,
right,
a big box.
And just yesterday, I realized as I was in the store that I was wearing a hoodie that I had bought in 2013, and it was a Kohl brand, and Kohl is one of our top brands in our store. So I'd had that thing for 11 years, and it looks as good as the day I got it. And that's the hope, is that someone else in 10 years will be saying, oh yeah, I got this piece of Town to Trail. It's still great. It looks good. It fits great. And in this day and age where you can buy things, and certainly that cheap quality is appealing. And I own some things too that are somewhat disposable, but the hope is that our items will be long lasting.
Right. Well, it's kind of a European model then in terms of ownership of clothing and buying of clothing, that they're used to buying more high quality, but they have less pieces that last longer.
Amen. Yeah. And I think that some of that is, my wife and I downsized last year. And so when you have to really go through your wardrobe and decide what stays and what goes, and as you guys know, when you move, that's part of the process. So for us, being empty nesters now and downsizing, that was a big part of just like, what's the most important thing, and it's fewer pieces and higher quality.
That makes perfect sense. So which items have been the most popular for you so far? Is it the flannel shirts or sweaters or what?
Yeah. So, because going back to your other question, so in addition to apparel, we do have also have equipment and gear and that sort of thing too, as it relates to hiking and camping and some outdoor activities. But overall, our apparel has been leading, and some of the brands that people know and recognize have really led the way. Sales are split between men and women. We definitely are flannel season now. It took a little bit to get into that, but yes, we have some fantastic flannels and sweaters and jackets and hats. We have a very large supply of caps and hats, as I typically will wear hats these days.
Well, that is so cool. I mean, we're just getting into that season, but I know you're a multiple business owner and such, but how has getting into the clothing realm and such, we think so much about seasonality and such. So we're thinking winter, but for the shop owner, you guys are looking so far ahead. Has that been interesting for you?
Yeah. So, being 51 years old, this old dog is learning new tricks. And thankfully I get to lean on my wife, who's had her shop, Wallflower Mercantile, for 3 years now. And I also have really good friends that own other stores in downtown Brighton. And they have been a huge asset. Ken from Running Lab and others that from the start, when this vision was there, they've been helpful in with this whole process, but there's a lot to learn, and we are, today we're recording this. Tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, I'm meeting with our reps for our purchases to see the lines for next fall and winter. So we're almost a year ahead.
Wow.
is how that process looks, and something that I didn't know about even a year ago, how far in advance everything looks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great. Must be exciting though. And at least now you know what's out there, what's selling. So that way it gives you some insight as to what you're picking out for next year.
Yeah. And talking with the brands and the reps and seeing the trends and my wife is involved with that process too. I know better than to choose a lot of women's styles. So I'm decent with the men's styles, but she's a huge part of that process and looking at the women's styles.
Nice balance. We have them both covered.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You get to know what the trends are a year out, at least what the suppliers think are coming.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a completely different business than what we're used to and what you're used to.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
But I feel like it with you being a fellow realtor as well, that's the kind of job that is hard to do for decade after decade. And at some point it's good to have something to kind of refresh, restart, and especially those passion projects.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, I mean, as I mentioned, we're empty nesters now. And, used to be my other jobs used to be coaching and Boy Scouts and things like that. I just had some extra time on my hands. So that's where this certainly fits in.
Gives you a chance to focus in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, and I know you've always been really involved in like the downtown area and such. with opening up this shop and such, we ask a lot of the shop owners downtown, how do you prepare for the different festivals or being involved downtown?
Yeah, so I'm a downtown development authority, and my wife is on the Believe in Brighton board. So we're pretty entrenched with what's going on, and we have monthly meetings with the downtown merchants. It is an amazing, tight-knit group. We call it Sesame Street, quite frankly. We walk by everyone. I mean, everyone is just so good to one another, and there's certainly going to be some friendly competition, some overlap, but as far as the festivals, like we're gearing up for the Holiday Glow, which is a chamber event. So we're, each of the shops are working, to create their own unique experience. And then we get into, Small Business Saturday or Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and then also like Ladies Nights coming up. So we have our calendar, and we try to, offer unique opportunities for people as they come downtown.
Great. Now, what types of merchandise might our listeners be surprised that you carry that they can find in your shop?
Yeah, so if someone is considering, say, they hike and they said, the next logical step for me is I hike and I camp. And I've always thought about backpacking, which is a combination of hiking and camping, but just on an extended period. It's putting things on your back and going out for multiple days and living out of your backpack. So we have everything that you'd need to do that. And that for me, with our experience in Boy Scouts and my youngest son being an Eagle Scout, and I was an assistant scoutmaster and a coordinator for some of those trips, that was something late in life that I learned I really love. I actually have a park and recreation degree from Michigan State. Wow. And you guys probably didn't know that. We're all Spartans here. Yeah. But that's what my degree is in. And I'm kind of getting back to that now with this part of it. But so if someone says, you know what, I want to do something different in 2025. I want to learn how to backpack. We're going to have clinics at the store, and we're going to have practice hikes. We already do hiking, but practice backpacking trips. So that might be something that people are surprised that we have. Other things that they might be surprised that we have would be, knives or binoculars, or this really cool brand of wallets called from Holland, from the Netherlands, called Sacred. So things like that. I think that there are some unique things as people stop in that they'd be surprised to see.
Great. And, it gets me thinking, whether it's the holidays or even if someone's listening to this outside of this season, birthday gifts and all that what an unusual place to just find that special gift for that special someone that might be kind of not the easiest to shop for.
Yeah, and like a perfect example would be hammocks. I learned from our hammock rep that the two hottest months to buy hammocks, certainly the beginning of the summer, it's like June, and then December. People are buying hammocks for Christmas, and we have those that are whether it's just for recreation, or we have a complete setup for camping. So people instead of tent camping, they hammock camp.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, with the hammocks, what I find unique now is if you go onto a college campus, you see a lot of hammocks.
You do.
Our son got one last year for Christmas. Mm-hmm. That he's in Boston, but he could take it out to the Common and set up his hammock for the day.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Most of these kids have hammocks, and a lot of them are trying to whether they're bike packing now, that's something that people are doing, or whether it's backpacking, they're really getting into hammock camping instead of tents as well.
Very cool.
Neat. Probably a lot easier to not have to pitch a tent and all that.
A little bit, yeah, definitely.
Very cool. Now I know you mentioned that you do like clinics on hiking, then, right?
Yeah. So as of right now, we're just doing hikes on the weekends. Every Saturday morning, we meet at Brighton Recreation Area at 8 a.m. We take off at 8:15, and we either have a 2 mile or a 5 mile choice, where we have two different groups go out. So we're doing that right now, and then the back of our space is still in construction. We have a small bar that's going to be opening up, a very simple bar where we're going to be offering, we're calling it Beer and Gear, where we're going to be doing clinics and going over how to learn, whether it's how to properly fit a backpack, or to pack a backpack, or to use a jet boil stove, or to filter water, things like that you might be doing if you're backpacking or camping.
That is very cool, because a lot of times people, they want to get into something like this, but they don't know where to start, right? And not everyone wants to jump into the deep end, right? So it gives them those opportunities to kind of get their feet wet, learn about a little bit more. And if they're loving it, what a great resource to be able to not only learn about those things, but meet other people that are doing the same thing.
Yeah, and you're right. It can feel completely overwhelming. I wouldn't have learned of any of this as an adult unless it was a gift because my son was in Scouts. And that's how I was just forced to learn it, and I loved it. And so as I talk to other parents who are late in life backpackers, most of them have some scouting experience. Some of them will seek out instruction, whether it's REI does a great job with their clinics as well, or obviously YouTube is an amazing resource as well. But it can feel overwhelming. And the goal here locally is to create an environment where someone can kind of get their feet wet and they can decide, is this something that that excites me, and what is this really like, and try to give them all the pieces so that they can go out and have a good time. But in 2025, we hope to have 1 to 2 backpacking trips where we're going to have small groups go out here in Michigan and enjoy backpacking.
Very cool.
It's fantastic, and what a great resource you are to our community. I mean, this is going to be really great, something that really hasn't been available that I'm aware of.
Right.
So.
Well, we all know of like the running clubs, right? But a hiking club is, it's completely different. You're still getting out there. You're in nature. It is exerting, but it's a different type of exertion.
Yeah, I tell you, after our Saturday hikes, it's all smiles. I mean, whoever came out of the woods feeling worse than when they started? No one, right?
Yeah.
No, you feel great. You feel wonderful.
Yeah. And with our boys being in scouting, it really is just a wonderful thing.
Yes.
And especially with all of us living in Michigan.
Right.
I mean, other states don't have what we have here.
Yeah, and obviously, as you guys know, as you're talking to your real estate clients, we have so much green space here.
We do,
and that's a huge draw for people that live here in the area. And so that's, town to trail is it is meant for both the town and the trail, and we have plenty of trails trails to get from town to trail. So it all plays in, but we have so much green space here, and we think that we can really serve those people that are looking to get out there.
Yeah, and it sounds like long term, so maybe not in this moment, but soon, that website of yours, you'll be able to have that kind of up and going where people will be able to order some of those items as well?
Yeah, we're going to have 100% of our items online here very soon. We're in the last stages of getting that launched. Probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks is when we'll have that up and ready, and so that if someone's moves out and they're in Indiana now, we're happy to ship them something. But we're going to have options for people to either pick up or have it delivered to them.
Great. That'll be really nice.
Yeah.
Especially, it's awfully snowy and easier just to order online.
Yeah.
Yep. But no, it's just great. And it is a really nice shop to go into. It's very shoppable. It's, good lighting and everything. But I mean, it's just nice to have another good store downtown to go into, because it has become such a vibrant downtown. I mean, we came out of the pandemic, and then they redid Main Street and such, but it's so nice to see so many shops there, and for you to bring in another good addition.
Well, thanks. Yeah, we wanted, we had a lot of options of filling that space, being the co-owners of that building, and we turned down a lot of things because, quite frankly, we heard what people are saying downtown, what they didn't want to see. In addition to another real estate company like ours and yours, they didn't want to see mortgage company or banks or that sort of thing, and so we just we waited for the right thing to happen, but yeah. And one thing I didn't mention is that we have a great staff at Town to Trail. This is not my full-time gig, and we have a great team of people that are, our goal is to listen to what people want. Like you guys, when you're for your buyers and sellers, you're trying to figure out what are their goals, and if you're listening to what their goals are, you're going to make them happy, and in the long run, you're going to achieve your goals, and that certainly carries over to Town to Trail as well. And we're measuring success right now by the number of smiles that we see. The rest will come. And that's how we're measuring things. Are we helping people get where they want to go? Are we solving problems for them? When someone says, I'm looking at these pants, the question is, well, tell me what are you going to use these pants for? Like, what's important to you? You're looking at this jacket. Someone says, I'm looking for a black jacket and it's got to be warm. Okay, well, where are you going to wear it? Where do you, I mean, hopefully you're going to wear it in a lot of different places. You find a jacket that can work for town, trail, and whatever. Just the other day, we actually had a priest come in. He said he was leaving for the Vatican. Wow. And he had something in his hand. And I said to him, tell me what you're going to use this for. And we ended up going with a different option for him because I didn't think it was going to be a really good fit for what he needed it for. And so that's all part of the goal. Just asking a lot of questions to give a really unique customer service experience. So that if people leave smiling, whether they buy something or not, they're going to feel good about their experience.
Very cool. I like that. I like that it's hands-on, that you're able to ask questions and you have someone there that wants to help you. That's, maybe an expert in that area, but they have the knowledge to ask the right questions, because so often when you're going out to purchase something, you're just looking at the look of it sometimes, and maybe it doesn't serve, like you said, for what you need it to do for you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The last thing we want is, and we say to people too, is for them to buy something and not love it and wear it. And especially if they're gifting something. And we really stress, hey, if the person that you're giving this to doesn't love it, please have them come back here, because we want them to love it and wear it. And again, this is all part of being sustainable as well. We don't want it to sit in a drawer or worse, end up in a landfill. Buy less, love the things that you wear, and hopefully they'll last.
100%. And being a person that hiked in their 20s and doesn't hike anymore, if you're going out to buy a backpack, make sure you're talking to someone that knows what they're talking about. Ask a lot of questions. Try on a number of different ones. You have the one where, the framing is internal, the framing is external. How many pockets does it have? How tall is it? How much are you planning to put in it? There's so much that goes into that, because there's nothing worse than you're buying one and then you're 5-6 miles out on the trail and you're like, oh my gosh, my back's hurting and this is bad and that is bad. Go talk to an expert.
Yeah, and our staff has been trained by our local Osprey rep. We carry a number of backpacks, but our largest backpack supply is from Osprey, and they're the number one brand. And just being fitted correctly is important. It's not as important on a day pack, but certainly if you get into a backpack where you have a 50-pound pack on, it's going to be important that you have the right pack. And Don, I made the same mistake when I got my first backpack pack. It was I just grabbed it off the shelf. No one ever helped me with it. No one ever told me how to size it or anything like that. So it is important, and taking the time, because we don't want to buy something that doesn't feel right.
Exactly. Yep.
Great. No, this is nice. And your staff is very friendly, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
It was fun to go in and check everything out. And
sorry I missed you guys when you were in.
Yeah.
No, very cool. And it's good we're getting into that holiday shopping season. And that's one of the things I love about downtowns, local downtowns, is doing that holiday shopping and walking down. And, it's kind of a callback to before you did everything online and such, where you're going into the shop and you're seeing, okay, what might be in this shop that fits the people I'm looking for.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and there are a lot of amazing shops downtown, and we got to model ours off of a couple. And one of the big things too for us is that we ask our customers, do you want to set up an account with us so that you can keep track of the things that you love and the sizes that fit you. And we've only sent out one email. We don't inundate people with emails or anything like that, but we really want to make sure that people can keep track, because I'm a dumb guy. I don't remember what size I wear in things or which brands I like. So it's nice to be able to go in and just have a record of, okay, I wear a medium in this brand. I tend to wear a large in this brand, and have those records there as well. And sometimes we have to be a little secretive if someone's buying for a family member and they have a shared account and that sort of thing. We have to ask if it's a gift and want to make sure we don't spoil any surprises there.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely. It seems like just great gift ideas, and because in some cases, people aren't willing to spend extra on something for themselves.
Right.
So that's the time to give a gift that is something truly special.
Right. But what a great thing to put the sizes on there, especially for like your kids as well and such.
Right.
There's so often that like I'm texting her, like, what size is it again? Like, I have no idea, right?
Right.
And to be able to have that there and to be able to it's all that customer service, like you said, and it sets you a pace above other people.
Well, we hope so. And we're always, we're always looking to learn and get better. And that is something we've asked almost everyone that walks in the store is, are there any brands that you're not seeing today that you'd hoped we would carry? So, and we've made some changes based on what people have said, or styles, that sort of thing. A woman came in the other day and she said, you have fleece line pants for men. Why don't you have any fleece line pants for women? And I said, we will soon. And so they're on order. So they're going to be here soon. So that's something that we really want our customers to be giving us real-time feedback so that we can make adjustments and give them what they want. Because we treat the shop as not ours, but everyone's. And we want it to be a place where everyone feels welcome and that they feel like they can find what they're looking for.
That's cool. I like that.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we've hit on a lot of areas. Is there anything about the shop that we've missed?
That we haven't covered yet?
No, I mean, it's going to be multifaceted, especially once we open the small bar area. We're going to have extended hours on a few nights of the week where, and it's not a bar. It's going to be a place where someone can get a quick drink. We're going to hopefully be a part of the social district as well. But there was a license that was with the building before, and we were able to use that, have it transferred over. So it is a unique shopping experience for someone. If someone wants, obviously they can get a water, a pop, or something like that as well. But if they're looking for a beer, wine, bourbon or tequila, we're going to have a simple drink for them as well. Some favorites that are going to be there. We're going to have primarily local beers on tap, eight taps, and most all of them are going to be local beers. That honestly, we want to highlight, like you guys do, highlight local businesses, because we're not a bar, but I do want to make sure that we have. And we've already talked to like Brewery Becker and Four Circles Brewing. We want to have some of their signature beers on draft, because if someone's never been to Four Circles in Brighton, we want them to be tasting some of their beers and at our place so that they go down there and try them later. Or maybe it's a different beer that Becker is offering at, I've never had their Hefeweizen before. And so, that would be something that we would be carrying. Local beers are really important to me, and our manager manager Robert, he's huge into bourbon. So I'll tell you, we'll have a good bourbon selection because Robert wants that, and we'll certainly wine and tequila as well.
Very cool.
Great. Yeah, cover all the bases then.
We're trying. Yeah, we're trying.
But again, what a unique atmosphere to be able to go in there and do a little bit of shopping and then have a drink if you want, or back there for a clinic and learn a few things.
Meet some people.
Yeah. Again, I think that's going to be one of the aspects that long term is really going to take off for people, of being able to have a community in terms of, if you're out hiking or you're doing these things, to be able to go into the shop and meet people that are doing the same things, to have that shared experience and then go share a drink together.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you mentioned shared experience, and that's certainly a goal in my life, is to have a lot of unique shared experiences. And that's, and we say that a lot. And obviously, at my age, we have a lot of choices, and it better be fun. And so that's what this has been fun for us to do. And I couldn't do it without my wife, Natalie. She's been huge with this process, even though she has another store to run as well.
Oh, that's so cute. You guys have that for each other, That's really nice.
Yeah.
And I do like to ask in terms of, what do you like best about Livingston County? You've obviously been here a long time.
Born and raised
in
the Brighton area. I've lived in Howell and Pinckney as well over the years, Hamburg. For me, I can't even imagine living anywhere else. It certainly is where growing up, you never thought you'd end up here, because, Brighton used to be a lot different than it is right now. But I think it's just the ideal place to raise a family. When my wife and I now live in downtown Brighton as well. So I have a 5-minute walk home. So some of my happiest moments in the day, believe it or not, are just walking to work and walking home to work, or walking home to get a car if I have a real estate appointment too, because I do that as well. But just you're living in Brighton and Livingston County, just all the options that you have for recreation, and just all the small towns that we have, and obviously our down whether it's Howell. And some of the other areas that we have in Livingston County as well. There are just so many options to get out there, and just we're in small town America. I had some friends that were in town from this past summer from DC, from Vegas, and from Texas, Austin, Texas, and they've been to Brighton before, and they loved all the new changes in downtown Brighton, and they said this is like a Hallmark Channel movie is what it is.
Yeah.
And it really feels like that, whether it's Brighton or Hull or Pinckney, some of the other areas that we have. It's hard to imagine living anywhere else.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It really is a great place.
Yes.
For sure.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming in today. We really appreciate learning more about your shop. Everyone out there listening, remember to check them out online. They're going to have an online store that you can order stuff from soon, but I know all the socials are in the show notes.
That's true. Do you want to give the website though, or?
It's townandtrailoutfitters.com.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. And so we'll have those in the show notes too. And but certainly the best bet is just to swing on by and pop in, right?
We'd appreciate that. And so we appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity to talk about the shop here today, and just professionally, real estate wise, you guys are always a pleasure to work with. And when we work together, we know that it's everything's going to get done properly. So thank you for everything you do.
Things do go very smoothly. So it's nice having professionals.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Well, again, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. We really appreciate it. Please check out our other episodes and check out Town to Trail Outfitters. So thank you so much, and welcome to Livingston.